everybody, it's Nick Chino here with you. Welcome back to the channel. Milford, Connecticut's Scooped Up have just released their second full-length album. It's called The Runs. It's a pop-punk album in the vein of bands like No Effects, Blink-182, Sum 41, and Green Day. I have Jimmy, Leo, and Jesse from Scooped Up here with me on the channel. How's it going, guys?
Good. How you doing, man?
Doing well. Thanks for joining me here on the channel. We had a chance to kind of interact a little bit on Instagram, started following you guys, been getting into listening to the band over the last week or so, been listening to The Runs. I listened to your previous record, been watching all the videos. So let's introduce Scooped Up to the channel and everybody out there. What's the story of Scooped Up? How did you guys come together? What is the story of this band?
Take it away.
Well, me and Jimmy, we knew each other when I was like in high school, and me and Leo knew each other before that when I was like in middle school, even when I was like 12 or 13. And me and Leo jammed in bands before, and me and Jimmy just knew each other from just being around town and stuff like that. And he just picked up the guitar in like 2015 or something like that, and through a mutual friend between us, like he just kind of hit me up one day and was like, "Hey, you want to jam? Like, I want to like write some punk songs." And I was like, "Yeah, sure." I was like between bands at that time, so so I was like, "Yeah, I don't really have anything to lose." So I was looking for new people to jam with, so I was like, "Yeah, sure." And then it was just like kind of us hanging out and like writing like shitty punk songs.
Yeah, for me,
Got to write
like
the shitty songs to get the good songs, right?
exactly.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
For me, the way I started was I just picked up guitar and just started jamming and shit and writing some random songs. And I was jamming with some friends of mine who were also just as shitty, some shitty friends. So some friends of mine who were also just as shitty at their instruments as I was. So we were just jamming. That kind of sparked it or whatever. Then they kind of fucked off and didn't want to play anymore. So then I was like, who do I know like that plays drums good that I can like start jamming with again? Because I just like got the itch from there. And then that's when our friend Richie told me that Jesse was a drummer. He like reminded me that he was a drummer. And I was like, oh yeah. Like, in my head, Jesse was like this prodigy drummer. And I was like, oh, why didn't I think of that? So I hit him up, and he was like lucky enough he was available the next day to come in to jam and shit. And we just from then on we just been working on random songs that we just had at the time, and just snowball effect from there. Later on, Leo joined the band after our original bass player decided to quit the band after the first during like halfway through the recording of the first album.
In the middle.
And so then they had history in other bands and stuff. So then Leo was the perfect fit once we needed a new bass player. And yeah, from there we've just been writing songs and going from then on.
Yeah, it's crazy too because me and Jesse played in a metalcore band, right? But
Okay.
my starting point was in pop punk, so it was kind of like a full circle thing, right? Because I feel like sometimes I'm in the middle of these two. Like I connect with him a lot with the pop punk we grew up with, and with him it's like a lot of metal, death metal, progressive stuff, and everything like that. So
yeah, it's funny. Jesse's wasn't never into pop punk until like joining the band. I mean, he still really isn't that much into it, but we've gotten him into a bunch of cool bands.
There's a few bands I like, but yeah, around the time that he hit me up, I was just in like I don't want to say funk, but I was just in like a stage of my like music path or journey where I was like, I just kind of want to like expand a little bit more, and I was always very like just dead set on like metal. Like I was just kind of like a death metal elitist in a way. And so I don't know, at that time I was just like, I started listening to like other stuff, like a lot of like R&B and funk and stuff like that. And then like took a look at like indie rock, and so I was just looking for really anything that was good, at that time, and just to kind of change up the style of my playing and whatnot. And then yeah, it was just kind of like just a bunch of randomness coming together and whatnot.
I think it's good because he brings a different flavor to the band than just bringing the next like cookie cutter pop punk drum beat that like you would expect on a song or whatever. So I think it's good that we have all different tastes in a way, because it comes together nicely. And yeah, like in the beginning, all I wanted to do was write songs that I could skate to, and that was all I wanted to do. Just like record some shitty songs, skateboard to it, and that was pretty much it. But once I started linking up with him, he was such a good drummer that it got me to be such a better guitar player and a better songwriter. And
gave him a crash course,
and that's
how to be a musician.
Yeah, basically. And then like the idea to actually be a band became a real thing. Like in the beginning, we weren't even trying to be a band. It was just like make music, and that was it. Like we weren't gonna try to be an actual band that plays out.
No, we really did start just like I was like, well, I'm having fun like just jamming. I mean, like, and it was really just a cool hang, you know. And I was like in the beginning, his playing was very rough. Obviously, he was just starting off, so I was just like, and me, like I was like more of a established musician, so it was just like I don't know. He was just like kind of crappy.
Yeah, no, I saw.
But
I was like 6 months into playing guitar.
yeah, it was rough. So like, but he was, I don't know, he would write these songs and like there would be something there with like the melody of like just like the vocals and stuff like that. And even my dad, honestly, if it wasn't for my dad at that time, like hearing it and just be like, nah, there's something there. It's like it's rough, but if you polish it up, like it could be something. And he was right, honestly.
Yeah.
Because now I feel like the songs we write are just like leagues ahead of the stuff that we started off, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about being musicians, right? Is like you want to be able to make good music together, but you also want to be able to hang out together and be able to just enjoy being in the room together, and that leads to good music as well. And the fact that you guys all like the different styles, that's just shows that you guys are real musicians because you like to go across the different genres and try to mix it up, right?
Yeah, for sure. No, yeah, we all have different backgrounds, and it's coming together into one coherent picture, and it's worked out so far.
What is it about like pop punk in particular? I was reading the bio on Spotify saying that you guys are trying to kind of bring back that early 2000s, pop punk, skate punk sound. What is it about pop punk in particular that you like? Like when did you first get into that genre?
Well, it's like it was like the soundtrack I grew up to as a kid. You know, it was in like every video game and every good movie like that I saw and grew up listening to, and I was put onto it by friends of mine who were a couple of years older that would just get like mixtapes with random fucking pop punk songs on them. And I would always think like, when you download music on LimeWire and they're all like labeled wrong and shit. I remember thinking like so many Blink songs were Sum 41 songs just because they're labeled that or whatever. But anyway, yeah, like just I feel like it was the soundtrack of like our youth, and you too, like you had a big pop punk upbringing. So like, and so did a lot of people our age. I felt like it was just once I was old enough to pick up an instrument and write music, I just felt like that's what like I would naturally want to make. I also skateboard all the time, so it was kind of like the soundtrack to skateboarding, and so yeah, that's kind of where it all branched out from. And it's a simple like genre of music to where it's just very melodic and very like catchy, and that's what I like in music anyway. So it was easy to pick up and start doing as someone who like just picked up the guitar 6 months into it, started a band randomly, So you have anything to add?
Well, no, pretty much the same thing, but I did get into it a little later than Jimmy. So like he got into it like the peak of like probably like what 2000, 2001.
Yeah, like, yeah, 1990.
Yeah.
And 2000.
So, growing up as just a kid in general in that time period, like you're just automatically around, the two most accessible forms of rock at that point. So it's like new metal, alternative rock, and pop punk, basically. So
yeah.
I heard so many pop punk hit singles, but I didn't know what the bands looked like. I could never remember the names. I kind of had a strict upbringing in terms of like what I had access to media wise until like I was 11 or 12. I started watching MTV without like my parents knowing, just on my own. There's kind of like a turning point, right? So like I played musical instruments like in elementary school, and like I always liked guitar driven music, but again I didn't have access to like the media to like learn more about like current bands. So I think in like those generic music classes you take in like elementary school, like we had like a once a month talent show, and one kid in my class in like 5th grade came in with a Squire bullet, and I was just like, wow, people my age can do this. This is nuts.
Yeah,
I
that's
want to do
definitely
this.
eye opening when you can see. Like,
Yeah, I was like, this is possible. What the fuck am I doing playing clarinet?
Yeah.
So, I ended up getting like an acoustic guitar for my birthday that year, like in '04. But I realized like I don't know what I want to play. I don't know any bands. So like, I still like really couldn't watch MTV. I just decided like one summer, like when I was home from like summer camp, just put on MTV. Newfound Glory I already knew about, because there's such an overlap again with pop punk and like everything you experience as a kid in terms of media. Like I remember seeing them on like Toonami and Cartoon Network back in the day. That was like the first pop punk band I saw that I could attach like faces to. And then coincidentally, like the first time I watched MTV on my own, All Downhill From Here was like the first video I saw.
I think Newfound Glory was the first band I've ever seen live too. If I can think back far enough, but yeah. Yeah, it's just like a collective, just a nostalgia trip kind of. That's why we're trying to bring it back in a way. But that's why we originally started. And since we've started, honestly, every band and their mother has made a return to form, and like pop punk has literally made a resurgence,
Yeah.
like a big one in 2016, like when Blink came back with Matt, and then every couple of years it's been like another bigger and bigger resurgence. You know, with MGK there was a huge one,
Right.
and right now like I could name like 10 really great pop punk albums that came out within the last like 6 months, and yeah, it just seems like it's back in the mainstream in a sense, even though everything's so niche nowadays.
Yeah.
Pop punk has now come back along with every alternative genre, you know, which is good.
Yeah, for sure. Well, with pop punk, like I grew up with it as well, back in the day. And, what you're saying, the late 90s and the early 2000s, kind of that heyday with all those bands that were coming out of the scene then. It's like, I remember it as well. And it just, I feel like now people can just get into whatever genre they like. It's not necessarily something that you just listen to back in the day. Like you're saying, there's lots of good pop punk coming out. Sum 41 just put out a double album last week. So,
Yeah.
there's still lots of that, current great pop punk music like yourselves that that's still coming out today. So I think it's very much a genre that is still like really current and not just nostalgic either, right?
No, exactly. Yeah. And I feel like a lot of the bands that we grew up on in the early 2000s was kind of like they're making their own statement in regards to what they grew up listening to, which was like other punk bands and shit from like the 80s and 90s and stuff. So it's kind of just like every 20 years, there's going to be like a recycle of like what people kind of grew up listening to, making a resurgence in a way, whether it's just influenced by that or if it's straight like emulated again or whatever. So yeah, no, I think it's cool that the landscape of music is like, in the past 5 or so years has really leaned back more into like an alternative landscape than it was,
or just like guitar driven
Yeah,
music.
exactly. Yeah.
Totally. More guitars, the better, as far as I'm concerned. For sure. So let's talk about this new record, The Runs. I was listening to the record. It's an awesome album. I want to talk a little bit about the making of the album, but first talk about the album cover, which I really, really loved. Some people playing baseball, and then you realize you take a little bit closer look at the album cover. You realize what's running down the guy's leg on the cover there. So there you go. I'm waiting for my copy. It's coming soon.
Yeah, it's on the I just sent it, but like Canada.
We sent you one of these.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Can't wait.
It doesn't have a frame, but yeah, we sent you a vinyl. But yeah,
appreciate it.
Canada, it's gonna take probably 2 weeks or something because
That's okay. Yeah, but so tell me about was that an interesting album cover to shoot? Like, how did that come together?
Yeah, the funny thing about that is like we were throwing ideas for like the name of the album around for months. It was the biggest thing. It was the one thing holding us back from releasing. Like, we were literally just like trying to come up with a good name for this album. And funny enough, I had the idea for The Runs and that exact cover, like from like years ago. Like I kind of just had that in the back pocket, like maybe use it for an EP or something. And then we just kept throwing around names and nothing really stuck. And then like at one point, like I remember Jesse being like, well, why don't we just try to go and shoot the cover of The Runs and see how it comes out, and then we'll know then if like we want to go with that or not. And when we went and shot the cover, it was exactly how I kind of imagined it in my head. That like once we saw it, it was like, all right, yeah, let's do it, fine. And like we like to throw jokes into our shit, but like this album, there wasn't any joke songs. Which if you listen to our first album, there's like a handful of joke songs that are just kind of like not actual songs in a way. They're just thrown in there for laughs. So instead of having a joke song, we have a joke on the album cover and in the name, and then the music speaks for itself. Like you kind of go into it thinking it's just gonna be like tongue in cheek or like real whatever, but then you listen to the album and you hear that there's actual substance to it, and so I think it's a good way to grab attention too when you see the cover. It kind of has like a good appeal to it with the colors and stuff, and then when you see the shit, you're like, well, what the fuck, I need to listen to this.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it opened up a great door for promoting it. There's just so many stupid funny ideas I can come up with about poop. So
poop jokes never get old, that's for sure.
Yeah, we love poop humor over here.
Everybody does. Everybody loves a good poop joke. Yes, I was checking out your social media. So what's the story behind this? The poop jug.
This we have this in our van for we converted the van to run on poop instead of gas, so
okay,
it gets like 50 miles per toad. So much more economical.
Very eco-friendly, very sustainable. I mean, you guys are saving the environment as well.
Yeah. We got endorsement by a big poop company, so like we get the shit mad cheap.
Yeah, for sure. So this is a big poop conspiracy.
Yeah.
Where did you guys record the record? Like, did you guys record that in Connecticut? Did you guys go out of state for that, or?
Yeah.
We went to Rhode Island.
London.
Connecticut, Rhode Island border.
Yeah,
I guess
It's
technically
in Rhode
half of it was recorded actually in New London, and the other half was recorded like in Rhode Island.
You're right, actually. Yeah, come up. Yeah,
Because our guy that we've been using for pretty much all our stuff, except for our very first EP.
except well, he didn't record Dumbass either. He put it together, but like everything, like our EP, High Try Sample.
I think he recorded some of it.
He recorded the guitars and some of the stuff, but
yeah.
most of that was kind of stuff that we recorded that put it back together. And
Yeah,
that's
the
why it
first,
doesn't
the
sound
first
as
album
good.
was like a Frankenstein.
The drums we recorded the drums ourselves for that.
Yeah, yeah. Some of it was recorded by us, and then some of it was recorded by Randy, who's our. Yeah, we've been using him basically for like 99% of our recordings.
Yeah.
So we have a long relationship with him. He's honestly like kind of like a fourth member of the band, truthfully.
Yeah, he's got a home studio, so we just go there,
Yeah.
we smoke weed, and we just like record the
Yeah.
shit. He doesn't charge us by hour, so we get to save money that way,
Yeah.
and it's kind of just a big hangout every time. And yeah, everything since 2019 has been fully recorded by him. And
Yeah, he's a big part of
and
like
all
our
that.
production for sure when it comes to our recordings and stuff. And even like just sometimes like how the song even works too, because like he'll give us like his opinion on certain things and whatnot, which does change like the sound of the song.
Yeah, yeah, he helps with figuring out certain things that we need to.
He's a drummer himself as well, so he's got like a musician kind of background as well.
Nice.
Some things just don't work as like the same when you go to record it than when you have been jamming it together. So like we'll figure stuff like that out together, and yeah, it's been good so far for sure.
And you guys like do you go into a rehearsal room and work out the songs first before you go into the studio, or is there, like you're saying, maybe a little bit of figuring things out in the studio a little bit?
Well, for the most part, the songs are like 100% written by the time we go and record them, and they've been like jammed out for months so that we get them tight. Because the songs are so fast that we want to get them tight as hell. Especially for on drums, he usually goes and he gets it like he'll do it out like the whole song in like 1 or 2 takes or whatever, and that's only going to happen if we get it tight. And we want it to sound as tight and as energetic as it sounds live. So that's kind of why we work on the songs for a long time and make sure that it's even worth recording before we go to the studio. Right. There's a lot of times we'll have songs that don't even make it or whatever, just because like they didn't, like when we're working on it, it doesn't even work out or whatever it is, So we wouldn't want to be doing that in the studio, wasting money and time on a song that's not even going to work out or something,
Yeah, for sure. Have it all figured out before you get in there, and then you guys can make it sound just as good as possible. Like you said, you have your producer. He kind of he's there to be your fourth set of ears, I guess, right? So you guys can be able to go in there and do your stuff, and then see if there's anything else you guys can put on it.
And the longer we're in the studio, the more stoned everybody gets.
That's how it is with my band too. So it's okay. It's
we're not getting anything done. This is not good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know for sure. You have it for a little bit of creativity at the beginning before everybody gets burnt out and then just starts eating food and passing out on the couch.
But yeah, I think you could tell when you listen to the album, you could tell that it wasn't just put together in a studio in 2 months or whatever. Like, for what it's worth, like we believe the songs have substance and that they're our best work. Like, and like we've picked and choose, and those 14 songs are the best 14 songs out of 4 years worth of jamming and working on other shit. So like, I think, and we're proud of what
what are we, Guns N' Roses? We got
But I think we're proud of what
4
came out
years.
I'm waiting for the scooped up double album. That's what I'm waiting for, or the triple album.
We're definitely, that is like
the works.
Yeah, that is the one thing we're definitely trying to work on.
We're gonna speed up the process from here on. That was mostly because of COVID that we took that long with that record. But like as soon as COVID hit, like the writing process just kind of ended because we didn't want to like write about fucking lockdown or nothing. And, we're trying to write fucking happy fucking summer, go drive with your windows down music. You know what I mean? So yeah. But yeah,
totally got that vibe from the album. Yeah, for sure.
We're trying to get our next project out like beginning of next year. Hopefully, it'll be like just like an EP or something. But like we're trying to speed up the process for sure.
Well, you have to keep things moving along, right? Because like in the Spotify age, it's always about keeping to feed the algorithm, or so they say, right?
No, exactly. Yeah. Yep.
The thing I really enjoyed about listening to your band is that it does remind me a lot of like, because I've been playing in bands for years as well, and it reminds me of like being younger and playing a lot of those really fun shows. And I saw that you guys play a lot of house shows on your social media. Like, what is it about playing a house show that's so cool? Because like you play in a venue, you play a bar or a club, that's one thing, but then it seems like things get a little bit rowdier when you're at a house show. What is it about a house show that's so cool?
Well, yeah, it's because you can do whatever you want. There's no rules in a sense. Like you can go and you can bring your own beer, and you can bring your own weed. You're spending less money in all that because you're not buying $6 drinks at a bar or whatever.
Right.
Like it's all ages in a sense too. Like you don't have to be 21 to go to a house show, and you can kind of just let loose. And I feel like people,
Yeah, people are more shit faced.
yeah, people get well. I feel like people let loose more because they're in a more like relaxed environment too. Like more people are willing to dance around and whatever because they're not being looked at by people that are sitting at the bar
Yeah,
or whatever. I don't know.
It's more
Yeah.
intimate too.
And who doesn't like a house party, you know?
Oh
So,
yeah, for sure.
and we like doing it because then now we don't have to pay. Like if we were going and like throwing the show in a venue, you have to pay the door guy and sound person, and then at that
Yeah.
point we could
Yeah,
sit.
we have sound equipment that we've been using for years at practice and stuff. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
like, and like, me and Jimmy, we have some basic knowledge of how to turn on a
Yeah.
little tiny mixing board.
One of the
So-
shows that we played on the tour in New York, we found this out late. I should have like looked into it, but like they had to take $300 off the door right off the top just to pay their people. And I'm like,
Oh,
oh
man.
man, I wish I knew that. There was like 70 people there, and like so what is it, like $10? That was like $700 to go around. 300 of it was taken off the top, and then there's
Yeah.
4 bands. So it's like like
Yeah.
when we do house shows, we don't then we have more control of the money, and
It's
and we can do whatever we
just
want.
getting us ready for venue merch cuts in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's like, well, yeah, you're saying, venues they're taking more and more cuts off of bands, and when you do have a multi-band bill like that, you have 4 bands. You want to be able to take a little bit away from the show. That's the whole point of going, right? Especially you guys tour a lot, right? You got to put some more poop in the van. So like, how are you going to afford the extra poop to toss in there? Yeah. So what would be like, would you say would be the wildest house show that you guys have played? Has anything ever gotten like really crazy? The cops came or anything like that?
Well, the cops come to all of them, but
Yeah.
we usually like. You
Hang
ever,
out with us.
you ever see?
He's literally like a cop whisperer. I don't want to like jinx us or anything.
Yeah,
like,
you ever watch Trailer Park Boys?
I don't know how. he
Yes,
just-
I'm Canadian, of course. Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So of course, yeah. So you know how Ricky is with cops, dude. I feel like I'm
Yeah.
the same way where I'll just walk up. Like the cops at the last party we did in Derby, they were so pissed because we threw it at my mom's house, and she has like a duplex, right? And so like the whole downstairs, this one dude used to like rent it out, and he was the worst. The cops would be there every week because he was like a drunk mess and shit. So the cops were already outside, pissed as hell, telling my mom that they're gonna like arrest her and shit, and they're pissed. I walked outside and literally like the mood just instantly changed. Like this is what my mom said. Like it like flipped a switch in them. I just walked out. I'm like, yo, what's up? Like, yeah, you want us to turn it down? Yeah, we'll turn it down right now. And like literally, they're like, I got them out of there like in a couple minutes. I was like, yo, we're just gonna finish our set. Half hour, it'll be all done. They saw me walk out, and they were expecting the dude that used to live there to walk out. So as soon as they saw me, they were like, oh, okay. Like we'll let it slide now. But like literally, it was hilarious, and I felt like it was just like Trailer Park Boys, but like I just kind of like threw them, like they just changed up their whole vibe about it when they were literally like yelling at my mom and her boyfriend. And then as soon as I walked out, it was all cool. But as far as craziest shows, like all of our local house shows have just been pretty much getting bigger and bigger. Like we'll have like over 100 people at each one, and I wouldn't say anything crazy happens because like so far it's all been good vibes, no like fights or nothing. So like, but as far as like mosh pits, it's lit as hell. So
Nice.
Yeah. No, I'm super thankful that our pits have been getting crazier with these house shows. The only one downside for me, at least, was someone went flying into me. I like,
Oh,
fell
yeah.
over-
Yeah,
fell
that's
over
the risky
top of my
run, yeah.
bass. Yeah, I fell over the top of my combo
Yeah.
and like kind of took the amp down with me and got
Oh.
sandwiched between my amp and the wall.
I've gotten microphones to the mouth before when I played shows. Like people
Yeah,
have
that's
gone to the mic. I'm sure maybe Jimmy, it's like you might experience that. People are like on the floor. You're like, don't knock my
Yeah.
teeth out or anything like that.
yeah, that sucks. But no, I've had that happen, or you're getting shocked too. That's the worst when your microphone's
Yeah.
shocked.
Got to get those grounds figured out, I guess. It depends on where you are, right?
Yeah, yeah.
The song M80 on the album, as you know, I'm a huge Oasis fan. I don't know if you know that, but I'm a giant Oasis fan. And when I was listening to the record, M80 features a clip from Noel Gallagher saying that he says he hates skateboarders. I do not hate skateboarders. I love skateboarders, but I immediately, I'm like, that's Noel Gallagher. Like, where did that clip come from?
That's so funny that you knew that it was no. I was just about to ask you if you knew the clip or not. But
Yeah.
I was just watching random YouTube videos, and there's a video of Noel Gallagher saying, "Fucking skateboarders can go fuck themselves." And he's like, "I've never once seen a skateboarder try a trick and land it, never once." And then literally, it cuts to a clip of him walking outside, and a skater like skates right in front of him and just like pops a huge kickflip, and then like literally just like proof that he has seen that. So it's just like it was the dumbest thing, and I saw that and when we were putting the song together, the song just starts off just I figured it needed something just to kind of like start it off besides that. So then I just thought of that clip when we dropped it in. It was hilarious and it worked so good. That's so funny that you knew it was.
I immediately picked that up when I was listening to the record, and I was listening to the record. I was at work yesterday listening to it, and I kind of like chuckled out loud when when I heard that song. I was like, that was pretty funny. So,
Hell yeah.
yeah, right to my Oasis loving heart, guys. So appreciate
Oh,
that.
awesome. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
we love Oasis too.
Right,
Yeah,
right
that's
on.
the we've ever
All
used
that
like a
Brit
sound
pop
bit.
stuff is good.
Yeah, that's cool. I want to talk a little bit about kind of like the do-it-yourself ethic of the band. Like you guys do everything yourselves. You write the music, record it, make your videos. You said like making videos is an important part of the band. Like, how do you guys come up with your ideas for videos? I was thinking like when I was watching the video, I think it was for Best Days. Like when you guys are driving, you guys are in the van performing. How did you guys not fall over? Where do all these ideas come for videos? Because I think that's really cool that you guys do all that stuff yourselves.
Thank you. It all comes from smoking pot. I think just smoking
All the
weed,
best ideas do.
good
Yeah.
ideas. Best days. That video idea just came from the fact that we got a van. So once we got the van, it was like we have to make a video of us playing in the van. And I thought it would just be so funny to have like a string attached to the steering wheel with like a brick on the gas and make it look like we're not even driving it. We're just like controlling it while we're playing. And that was like I think that's my like I'm the most proud of that video I think out of all of ours just because of like all the moving pieces that had to work out. Like we had to have someone hold the camera outside of like a moving car while we're driving the van, and I'm like hiding to make it look like no one's driving the van, and like all these little things just that ended up working out perfectly. Like there's only one or two shots that I like wish I could redo or whatever, but the rest of it, it all came out really good. But as far as video ideas, like I don't know,
I think
just brainstorming a lot.
yeah, and it's important. Like we don't really take ourselves like very serious, obviously, and that was like a huge aspect of the band like beforehand, and I feel like that's because we're just like we just kind of suck, so it's like a defense mechanism. We just play it off as the whole thing's just a joke. But I don't know, like we still to this day kind of keep that same kind of like vibe going, and it kind of allows us, I feel like, to I don't know, yeah, be more open to just like wacky ideas and stuff. But then we can also like do something a little more serious too if we wanted to. Like I don't know, like reruns is like that's not really like a joke or anything. It's just
Yeah, that's
it's
more
kind
like
of
an
artsy.
artistic video.
Yeah, yeah, and you're not gonna see like some kind of like I don't know most like metal bands or something or just most bands in general. I feel like you're not gonna really see them like I don't know take that kind of
Yeah, artistic
approach.
touch or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so another thing that we have riding for us is I have a background in art and videography and photography and all that stuff. Before I even picked up guitar, I was doing graffiti art and graphic design and stuff like this. This logo right here,
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's a
it
great logo.
turned into that or whatever. And so like as soon as I picked up the guitar and started writing songs and we actually put out our first couple songs, like we did music videos for everything right from the beginning. So like we've always been doing music videos and trying to like one up each one every time. And so like right when the band started, even when it sucked, like I was so good at making art and making content for it that we looked more professional than we ever were right from the get-go. And now we've just been upgrading.
Maybe not even that we look professional, but it's just like, oh well, it looks like they got like some stuff going on over there.
Well,
like,
as far as any other
like,
local bands that have just started, like we look pretty.
And what was cool
professional.
too is like back then, especially like you had so much like of your paintings and whatnot that he was able to just like kind of flood the Instagram with that, and that was also back when like the Instagram algorithm was a little different too, so we were able to like just kind of like gather all these just like random like I don't know following this like and it was cool too that like we just had all this art that he was doing that didn't really have anything to do with the band, and then he kind of slowly did incorporate the two things together, which is also really cool because it's just like it fits like yeah it's just like a whole package thing, and it's like yeah, I don't know. That's kind of one thing that is cool about like doing a lot of the things yourself as well. It's like it's not this, you know, artist over here and his artistic vision and da da da. It's the dude that's actually like writing a big
Right.
chunk of the songs, and that's actually like also doing like the logo or whatever, or also
And
like taking a picture or something like that, you know.
yeah, like
And
so we direct and edit all our videos ourselves and stuff. So like say we were hiring someone like different artist for all of our albums and stuff, you would see a change in all those different works, you know. But like since we're doing it all ourselves, it all has like uh it all like progresses and it's all very cohesive the whole time, you know. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of what we have going for us that a lot of other local bands don't have, and we save a lot of money this way too. We're not
Yeah.
spending $1,000 a video, which
Right.
like if you were to hire me to make best days for you, that's at least $1,000. You know what I mean?
Oh
Like the
yeah.
amount of work we put into that shit, it was a lot.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, and that's the one thing I noticed about the band is that you guys have a great presentation and great aesthetic. You know, you have all the pieces together, right? To go out there and do your thing. You got the videos, the pictures, the social media. So it's all really coming together really well, and that's definitely something I noticed about the band. So that's a definite positive.
yeah, it was cool like early on too because we didn't have a whole lot of like content as a band to offer. We didn't have a whole lot of music to really offer. We had like a couple songs that were really released like in the very beginning. So it was definitely good that he had a lot of just like all this art that was like saved up and also just at the time it was just like flowing with ideas too for sure like
Mhm.
so it was like cool that we could like post that stuff and like that kind of even got people's interest. So it was kind of cool. Like you can go to our Instagram even if you didn't care about the band. It was like it was like a whole portfolio of like you know like graffiti and stuff.
Yeah, now that Instagram and social media in general has kind of moved more towards video content, like I had already been making funny videos since I was a kid. That like
Yeah.
doing those all the time just like came easily. If you look at my personal YouTube page, I have like hundreds of random stupid videos that have nothing to do with the band, but they're just like ridiculous comedy skits and shit.
Mhm.
Like whenever we have a release, I just use that same part of my brain to make a promo video, like the
Right. Yeah.
shit or whatever. Like, and I just try to come up with something every morning, and then if I come up with something good, I'll shoot it that day. If not, I'll just do something the next day or whatever.
Yeah. Well,
And
that's you guys aren't just a band. You have to be marketers. You have to be video editors and video directors, and you know, it's not just about especially these days, 2024. It's not just about being a band. It's about being kind of everything. And I do it in my band too. We do a lot of it do it yourself, and it's like that's kind of like what you need to be doing these days because it's so expensive to outsource all that stuff.
And we've had that mindset since the beginning, and like you'll hear that all the time nowadays, especially the past couple of years. Like, oh, if you're a musician, you're now also the marketing, you're the photographer, you're the graphic designer, all this, and this. And it's like, yeah, we've already been doing that because we've
Yeah.
already had all those skills in the back of our pocket. And that's what you should be doing anyway. Like you
Mhm.
shouldn't be dreading it at becoming a musician. Like, oh, now I got to do all this shit. It's like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
part of it. You want to get your music heard, you got to do every avenue to get it heard.
It's at least part of it a lot in the beginning. If you really want to like be a self starter, get yourself out there and stuff for sure. It's kind of necessary until you can get out there, make more connections, meet people, you collaborate on different
Right.
projects, stuff like that. Like that's really the goal. So yeah, maybe one day we don't have to do so much of this like kind of like legwork and stuff. We can focus more on like writing the music and recording it and
Mhm.
playing
100%.
shows,
For sure.
stuff.
But yeah, we're big into guerrilla marketing too. We don't just do
Yeah.
like
It's
social
fun
media
though. It is.
too.
It's a lot of
Mhm.
work, but it is fun at the end of the day. Because if this
Yeah.
wasn't fun, then I wouldn't be here. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
none of us are getting rich doing any of this. Like, but it's just fun.
So what's coming up next for the band? What shows are coming up next for you guys? Where are you headed next?
So we just finished up our tour for the runs. The last show is going to be the 420 house show on 420. So that's
Nice.
coming up.
That's gonna be I'm sure that'll be a really fun show.
420 shows on 420.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So after
shows on
that,
421.
we're putting together some other out of state shows, and other than that, we're playing a big festival in July, and pretty much just keep an eye on Instagram for more local shows and out of state shows. We'll
Yeah,
be
we're still
announcing
gonna be
stuff.
playing shows pretty heavily. Like I wouldn't say it's like a tour per se, but throughout the summer we're gonna have shows like a little more sporadic than we did with like I guess it was technically the winter, right? Or would it be
Yeah,
spring?
the spring tour,
The spring tour?
the
Yeah.
runs
tour.
tour.
The runs, yeah, it's the
Yeah.
run tour. that was like every single weekend. You know, we were going out of state and playing a show.
Yeah, February this month.
Yeah. So.
But yeah,
Nice.
another
We'll
big
be
part
out
of it is the guerrilla part of it, the marketing. Like the past 3 nights, I literally went and followed. Past 2 nights, I went and followed the Hot Mulligan tour, and
Oh,
I
sweet.
passed out like 1,000 stickers at each one. And like the night before that, I went and saw the Descendants and Circle Jerks in New Haven, passed out stickers at that too. So
Cool.
I try to catch as many shows as I can. I literally have like a list, like a whole calendar now coming up of every show that's coming through of all pop punk bands. I'm gonna try to hit every one and pass out like 1,000 stickers at each one, and that'll like
We've been some EPs with you.
I'm gonna do that too. But yeah, we've been doing that for
Some of them.
years. Like back when Warped Tour was a thing in 2018, I followed that for 5 dates and did the same thing. And like if Warped Tour was still a thing, we'd be doing that like hardcore, just passing out shit and just building the band that way. Because I feel like that's one of the best ways to do it. Because once someone gets a sticker and then they finally see our post online, they're like, oh, like it just clicks.
We got to meet Kevin Lyman for a hot second too. When me and you.
Nice.
Yeah, I ate a fucking lobster tail that Kevin Lyman chefed up on a fucking on a grill and stuff. And I was like, thank you, Kevin. And yeah, it was cool.
All right. So before I let you guys go, I wanted to ask you some fun rapid fire questions. Let me know which of these you prefer. All 3 of you guys can answer. Blink 182 or Green Day?
Green Day was a much more impactful band for me. Basically, you know, when I had the guitar, right, and I was discovering all these bands, I wasn't really like touching the guitar at that point, but I remember like this was around the time American Idiot came out, and like MTV did a whole like 10-year anniversary of Dookie, and they just zeroed in on Billy Joe going ham on his fucking like blue strat or whatever, the signature one with all the stickers on it, and the way he like used to strum and just go wild in like those mid-90s shows. That's what did it for me. And that's, you know, most of my first songs were all Green Day songs.
Yeah, Green Day at Woodstock was legendary.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All the mud at them.
They're very
But for me as a drummer, like Travis Barker is just a little more technical, a little more interesting.
Yeah, that's a loaded question. I like them both like so equally, but I'd probably have to go with Blink as far as what I listen to more or have listened to more. But yeah, Green Day has had their eras for sure. I think I like more Blink music though. Green Day has so much shit out that there's more of their shit that I wouldn't listen to compared to Blink's music. I could listen to most of their shit.
Yeah, I like Blink for kind of different reasons too. Like those two were always neck and neck for me. Green Day just kind of like has the lead a little bit more because that's what drove me to really like start learning guitar as a kid. But I will say that I appreciated Blink almost to the same level. One, not just because of the music, but because, you know, I really kind of idolized Travis Barker in a way, not in the sense that like, you know, I played drums like him, but that was like the highest level that you could get to in like the pop punk world in terms of being like a relevant mainstream figure. Like he was always in those freaking Boost Mobile commercials. He had the reality show at one point. You know, I think he started Famous Stars and Straps at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, he said rapid fire questions. He's here
That's
rapid.
okay.
Yeah,
No,
this is not-
you know, but we like to. It's, maybe more this or that than rapid fire. I like to hear the answers because I like talking. You know, going deep. Which one do you think has the better new album, Blink or Green Day? 'Cause they both put out-
Blink.
they both put out new records.
I
Yeah.
haven't listened to it either, so
Green Day, I was kind of disappointed with their new record. I liked 1981.
Well,
That
that's a good
was
song.
the song that stuck out for me on that album that I was like, all right, let's go. The rest of it was just kind of like, I like the singles are all pretty good, but I think that's kind of it. I feel like it's a little top heavy. Like the beginning of the record's good, and then it kind of like fizzles out. Blink's album was great, and I was like in Vegas during the When We Were Young thing, listening to
Nice.
Blink the whole time. So that kind of just like cemented that album's memory with all that good shit. So like I had a good time like listening to that album and stuff. So yeah, I think Blink definitely had a better album.
Yeah, no, I agree with that too. I feel like Green Day, it's hard to really for me to consider them like a pop punk band. They're more of just like a straight rock band at this point.
Definitely nowadays, yeah, definitely more. They're not really like they used to be. They're definitely more kind of just a straight
like
rock
really
band now.
into like the Clash influence stuff almost.
Yeah, for sure.
I really liked Alkaline Trio's album because that came out around the same time as Green Day's album. I'm pretty sure.
We're not talking about Alkaline
But I
Trio.
really like the Alkaline Trio's album.
Yeah.
And Neck Deep's album. Neck Deep's album was like a
I really
Yeah,
like
Neck Deep's
Jelly Roll's
awesome.
new album.
what?
I really like Jelly Roll's new album.
Yeah, well, we're not talking about that. Yeah, Neck Deep. Neck Deep is good.
Good record for sure. DC or Marvel?
Oh, Marvel. Spider-Man, dude.
Spider-Man trumps Batman.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say Batman. So honestly, even though most Batman's DC, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, even though most DC is trash, and honestly, this is the wrong question
Gear
to
Dick
be asking
Corporation.
me because I don't really care for superhero movies that much. But Marvel obviously has better movies, but
Yeah.
Batman is the best. So I'm gonna have to go DC, I guess.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with DC too, just because even though like their movies like couldn't even compare to Marvel's legacy in the 2010s, just the feel and vibe of those movies felt a little more realistic to me overall compared to what Marvel was doing, and that's kind of why I vibe with that a little more. But
Mhm.
yeah, also just DC because Marvel has a freaking monopoly on the genre.
I
So.
want more mobster movies, less superhero movies.
More
Yeah,
mobsters, some more
Spider-Man.
Sopranos.
But you've been watching The Sopranos a lot lately.
I just
Yeah.
finished Sopranos. I'm pissed.
Spider-Man's better though, So
Yeah, for sure. Spider-Man's the man. Sum 41 or Newfound Glory?
Ooh,
Oh,
that's
another
a tough-
loaded
that's a
question.
tough one.
They're supposed to be loaded. They're supposed to be, hard to answer.
That's a diaper of a
That's
question.
tougher than Blinkers.
I don't even have an answer for this.
Yeah, shit. I don't know. Some 41 I got into before Newfound Glory, but Newfound Glory was probably.
I'm gonna go Sum 41 because I saw them live.
Yeah, you didn't see Newfound live?
I don't think so.
Sure, you have.
It was Warped Tour
At Warped
2016.
Tour.
They were both playing.
Oh, they both played at the same time. You saw them
Whatever.
both actually.
I saw them both at the same time, and I remember Sum 41.
Dude, yeah, I don't know. Newfound Glory, if you ask me, is one of the most underrated pop punk bands from out of all those bands. Like they should be I'm pretty sure Simple Plan is bigger and they're playing like bigger stadium shows than them. And if you ask me, Newfound Glory is a lot better than Simple Plan.
Oh, totally. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to go. This one's, like I said, it's tougher than Green Day versus Blink. I'm going to have to go, even though like Newfound was the first pop punk band I saw where the spotlight was on them. They're like, this is a touring pop punk band. I'm going to have to go with Sum 41 just because Dave Brown sound was a huge influence on me, and he was kind of like my gateway drug into metal in a way. Like that's, that was like some of my first solos were like Sum 41 solos that I learned, like Does This Look Infected, Chuck.
All Killer No Filler, I think, was like the first pop punk CD that I bought and got at a store.
I got one for you. Oasis or Blur?
Oasis. Always. I actually do like Blur.
Song
Yeah, it was song 2.
Come on, song 2.
They got like
Yeah.
2 songs.
They got 2
And
songs.
one of them's
I know.
song 2.
I know, but then people, write off Oasis and say they're only Wonderwall, right? So,
Full cover of it.
Scooped Up has 2 songs.
They got that song
right?
Park Life and song 2. That's it.
Whatever.
That's all they
All you need is that's it.
You don't know anything about British music.
damn.
well, Neck Deep's British. You don't really think of pop punk bands as being British. You think, pop punk bands are American or Canadian. But it doesn't make sense to me when you hear pop punk coming from the UK.
I like a lot of Australian. There's
Makes sense. So they started punk.
Frenzorama's from Australia. That's a good pop punk band.
Body Jar.
Oh yeah, they're from Australia too.
There you go. Australia's where it's at. You guys got to head down
Not
there.
Talking
Australia.
about Australia, dude. What is wrong? We were talking about.
I moved into
Britain.
Australia. They sound the same.
Come on. You just alienated some of our fans potentially.
They both sound cool, is what I meant.
All right.
Right on. So when are you guys going to be? You saying maybe a new EP coming out in the new year sometime? We just had the runs come out right now, so you guys got to promote that for a little bit. But are you guys already working on the next Scooped Up record?
Yeah, we got songs written, and we got 2 of them are contenders. So we're gonna try to get 5 or so or more, whatever we end up getting to.
We might also re-record some old tracks.
Yeah, we were thinking about doing that. We might bring back some songs from the first album as just kind of a little treat, kind of bring them back to bring them up in quality and just all around. The band sounds better nowadays. That we might redo 2 of the songs from the first album, but that's still to be determined. But yeah, we're hoping for the beginning of next year to come out with like an EP or something, or at least a single leading up to the next project. So yeah, we're hard at work. We're trying to keep the ball rolling.
Perfect. Yeah, keep the momentum going. So Scooped Up, the new record is called The Runs. I'm going to be doing a review of the record here on the channel, eagerly and waiting that that record to come in the mail so I can listen to it for real, because Spotify is not the real way to listen to music. So
Oh yeah,
where
sounds great too. So you're in
yeah,
for a treat.
I'm looking forward to it. So where can everybody find you guys? Where can they follow you online? Where can everybody listen to Scooped Up? And which songs would you want people to listen to first from the record? If they were, to pick up the Scooped Up record, what would be, the key tracks you'd want people to check out?
Well, they could find us by just Googling Scooped Up. We're very Googleable. You can find
Definitely, yeah.
everything. We're either
Yeah, most things, it's just Scooped Up.
All
Like,
usernames
Instagram's, like,
are
Scooped Up One.
yeah, it's either Scooped
Yeah.
Up or Scooped Up One because it was taken, and then you
Yeah.
go to scoopedupband.com or mgksucks.com to go to our website. We have a bunch of
Up.com.
poopedup.com is another domain. It all goes to the same website.
Nice.
As far as what I'd want someone to listen to, I would want someone to just pick up the runs and just press play, because
Play.
in my opinion, like it's just a perfect track list.
Yeah, it's only 28 minutes long too. So
Yeah, 27 and a half, I think, actually. But yeah,
no, it's
so
like 27 and 50.
yeah,
seconds.
27 and 50 seconds. So it's
Something
very,
like that.
it's 14 songs
Yeah.
in.
So by the time
In
you realize
27
you
minutes.
hate it, it's over anyways.
Yeah, that's the best representation I'd say of the band right now is that album. As far as like, the first song to listen to, if you were just gonna listen to a song and never listen to us again, probably be Best Days or maybe Joyride or something.
Nice. Best Days, because you guys are rocking out in the van. That was my favorite video, the ones that I watched. So
Yeah, I think that video definitely gives a great representation of kind of like our humor and the band, and it's a great like sing along chorus type of song too. So yeah. What about you guys? What do you think would be your song you would give to someone to listen to on their first go? Or like, what's your favorite song
I
from
have
the
to go
record?
like at least 3.
Drop them right now.
All right.
Now's the time.
So I think Slingshot, because it was like the last song that we wrote for the album, and it's the best representation of where we're at currently in terms of being able to get on the same page with the songwriting.
Mhm.
I think with the EP, you're probably going to see songs that are kind of similar to maybe that style a little bit.
Yeah, I
those
agree.
for sure.
Slingshot is my favorite song too on the album.
Yeah, I would
Nice.
say Slingshot, Joyride, and Foolproof. Those are because I feel like the singles that we released, like Reruns and Dyslexic, it's a little more straightforward as far as like song structure and everything, and just like the feel of it. Where like the 3 songs I mentioned, like yeah, they're the more, at least Slingshot and Joyride are more recent songs that we wrote, and yeah, I feel like there's just like more kind of peaks and valleys, and or just a little more intricate songs in general. So.
Yeah, and for my remaining 2, I'm gonna go with Dyslexic, because it's like just the go-to like radio hit single, right there at the very beginning, right after Reruns. Very uplifting sound, and in terms of like what the band can really dish out instrumentally, I feel like Shoelace is the best representation of that. So got one that's just like pop punk hit, one that's like the newest song that we've written out of the batch, and one where we all kind of go a little crazy.
Yeah. If you
nice.
listen to it all, it's all good. There's no skips. That's
No
what
skips. And yeah, it's a breezy listen, 27 minutes and you're good to go.
yeah, exactly. And I'm not quoting someone else. I'm not saying it's no skips. I've heard it. I've heard it from someone else.
I would say it's no skips because I listened to it. So I would say it's a no skipper.
There we
There you
go.
You can take my opinion. You can take that to the bank for sure.
Oh yeah.
Right on. So we have Jimmy, Jesse, and Leo of Scooped Up. Thanks for coming on the channel, guys. I really appreciate it. And yeah, check out the band. And I'm really looking forward to reviewing the record here on the channel. Thanks a lot for coming on.
Of course, man. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Have a good one.